All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Amy Lasack. I'm the Senior Director of Corporate Training here at Kirkwood Community College. And I'm excited today to talk a little bit more with some folks that we've just started working with here in corporate training. And this is Brooke Fitzgerald and Lindsay Leahy. I'm excited to have a few moments to talk to you guys. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us. We're
Thank
excited
you.
about the partnership.
That's awesome. So I'm going to turn over to you guys first, just to tell us a little bit about yourselves and kind of how you've gotten to this point in your journey, your professional journey. So Brooke and Lindsay, do you just want to take a couple minutes to talk about where you are?
Sure. I'll kick it off. I started my career in marketing and then moved into a sales role, did a couple of years in economic development and have held some different sales leadership positions since then. And one of the things that I was seeing in my career was all of the human issues that get in the way of us being productive in the workplace. So just low trust, low cooperation, people carrying emotional things into the workplace and leaders not knowing how to deal with that. And then leaders themselves just not having a solid understanding of who they are and what their experiences and biases might be that were getting in the way of them being a good leader. And so I decided about a year ago, jump out of corporate and found the Restoration Project to do coaching, so individual one-on-one coaching, and then also consulting work with teams on building that trust and cooperation. And we have a couple programs around that. So that's kind of how we got to here. And then Brooke joined just a few months ago, and we were super excited about that.
Yeah, so I had a very similar path to Lindsay in that after graduating from Mount Mercy here in Cedar Rapids, I went and did a lot of food and beverage management with local companies, and also did a stint at a corporate bank as well. And 8 or so years into the corporate banking world, we had our first child, Connor, and I was getting an itch to jump out into the entrepreneurial world. So I founded a coffee shop called the Early Bird downtown and ran that for about 8.5 years, as well as doing some commercial real estate work too. So got caught up in a lot of that and realized that I really did want to partner up with Lindsay in the work that she was doing with the Restoration Project. It aligns really well with my core values and the impact that I want to make on the community here locally and making positive changes in the workplace. So
yeah, pretty awesome that we're friends and we get to work together to help local leaders and local companies every day. It's been awesome.
Yeah.
The best of both worlds.
Yes.
I love what you guys are talking about as far as, we often think of ourselves segmented, right? This is my work life, this is my community life. And what I'm hearing from you is you're really talking about how that all is really one thing. Can you talk a little bit about that and how the work that you do help leaders and the folks on their teams kind of understand that and be able to handle that?
Yeah. We actually at our retreat, we're finalizing a curriculum that we're really excited about, but just we kind of have some steps that we take, whether it's an individual coaching client or a group through, to better understand that all of us have a different story and all of us have a different experience, and really kind of open hearts and minds around that. And then we address a lot of limiting beliefs that we put in our own way, and stories we tell ourselves that prevent us from being our best, or maybe prevent us from working well with others. And then we really focus in on building trust and cooperation. So we do a lot of exercises around sharing core values. We do some things around sharing personal histories, a lot of Patrick Lencioni, Brene Brown. We follow a lot of their work. And just foster that open dialogue to get people to kind of reflect on, okay, based on where I've been, here's how I see the world, and how can we meet each other in a good spot just to get through to resolving issues faster. So it's been really fun. Yeah, so we do that individual coaching, and then we've got an empowerment program that we run. It's usually about 16 weeks where we'll actually take each individual through this kind of reflection-based coaching, but then also do group sessions where they're sharing some of their findings out amongst each other and breaking down those walls.
Yeah, just eliminating, a lot of times, especially in a year like 2020, where we have a lot of uncertainty and lack of clarity just everywhere we look. It's nice to have this program where we're seeing people get clarity in their own personal life, and they're able to transfer that into the workplace as well. And just giving themselves grace, and then to be able to offer that to others in the workplace and be able to honor each other for who we are and how we've been created, and the experiences that we've had all play a part in that, and we can work together once we kind of know a little bit more of how we operate as human beings. We're just humans trying to get through life,
And it sounds like super touchy feely, but we get into really strategic conversation also, because it's just our perceptions also are a roadblock to how we communicate, to how, just misunderstanding, common language, all of that is all tied together. So it's fun to be able to work in business settings. I mean, we're both passionate about that because we love business and strategy too. So to be able to do both has been neat and fun too.
I love that, because I would say in the past, vulnerability and giving ourselves and others grace has often been seen as a negative. So it really embracing that so that you can get to that next level sounds like that's something that you guys really take to heart as you're working with folks.
Yes.
Yeah.
And meet people where they are. Everybody's different. Everybody has a different comfort level. So we always say, share what you want to share. Some people stay just very focused on workplace stuff. Some people want to talk about how their personal lives impact their whole being. And we kind of just meet them where they're at.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. So really customizing. So what you do with me may look completely different than what you do with somebody else. Is really going at their own pace.
100%. Yeah, I actually am working with a group right now, and they're like, hey, we haven't done that core values thing together. And I'm like, yeah, because that's not where you wanted to focus. That we had other work to do together.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of the fun part. For us, we're just very entrepreneurial in our own way, so it's kind of nice that no day is the same.
Yes.
And no client is the same. And, we may do the same exercises, or we may have the same questions, but they may be at different times. It might be in the first session for someone. It might be in the 5th session for another person, so highly customizable. Yeah.
So if I'm an employer watching this, or I'm an individual watching this, and I'm like, that this might be for me, what sort of things should they be thinking about, or will they know that this is the right time, or this is something I should explore?
Yeah, I can take that.
Okay. Yeah, I have so many ideas.
Yeah. So just some examples of who I'm working with currently. Teams that are struggling with accountability and managing outcomes, cultures that maybe are just lacking in trust and clarity of what their job role is, and just feeling like they're not bringing enough value to the team because they don't really feel like they belong there maybe. And those are all just issues that are easily fixable if we sit down and have the conversations and go through the exercises that Lindsay and I were referring to earlier, in getting people to that place and just communicating where people are and how they fit in and how they're valued and feel like they are safe at work and belong. So, and then on the individual side, that really can range. It could be personal things that they want to work on, accountability to themselves. I can't reach my goals. I feel like when I'm at work, I want to be at home with my kids. When I'm with my kids, I want to be doing my work, just establishing personal boundaries. And then on the professional side, it could be very similar to that, setting boundaries at work or figuring out, okay, everything's a priority, so nothing is, so I'm not getting anything accomplished type thing. So
we work a lot too with leaders like that are going to the next level and not feeling 100% confident in stepping into that role. So that's always fun. I love working with new team leaders because they are trying to move from the doer to the leader, and that's a really hard transition. And then we love to help them find their own style so they're not trying to be somebody else. And I would say, Amy, a lot of times people can't name what they're struggling with when they ask us in. Like I had one CEO just come to me and like, I don't know what you do exactly, but I think we need you. It just feels like frustrating and heavy. And I've had individual clients tell us the same thing. I just feel unfulfilled, or I'm just not where I want to be, and I can't pinpoint it. And I think that's where our natural curiosity and our we've done so much of this work ourselves to like be a safe space for people and to really dig into who we are, that it just kind of comes natural to give that safe space to really open up and figure it out with people.
I think that's really helpful. I think a lot of times people feel like they need to know the why on why I'm asking for help. And it just sounds like, you don't need to know it all, but if you have a need to maybe explore, you guys can help them figure that out a little bit.
Yeah.
We love the complicated stuff.
A challenge.
No.
We like challenges.
That's great. Well, Brooke and Lindsay, thank you so much for taking this time to chat with us. We really appreciate it. So if anybody wants to bring Brooke or Lindsay in to chat a little bit more, you can give us a call here at Kirkwood Corporate Training, 319-398-5623, or an email, corporatetraining@kirkwood.edu. Thanks, guys.
Thanks
Thank
for the
you.
opportunity, Amy. Take care.